Yes, good evening. This is a response to a scientist making a statement about global warming, and he was talking about the CO2 emissions and about how the radiation reflects off the atmosphere and off the Earth itself. The only indication that he didn't give on that video that was very important to understand that it's not only the CO2 gases, the gas emissions, the greenhouse gases that are causing the problem. There are tons and tons of chemicals in our atmosphere that are exothermic. I believe I'm using the right term. Exothermic means that when they react to certain other chemicals and create heat. Aluminum being one of them, aluminum oxide. It's just one of many chemicals that are in our atmosphere. And I think scientists are failing to tell you all the data and all the details. They give you an understanding of what's naturally in the atmosphere, what's naturally there. We're not talking about the other chemicals that are causing, changes. And I've put this in my other videos at times to explain to them about the whole idea and the whole concept of physical change. And there is a physical change that happens in the atmosphere when you have many other chemicals interacting with other chemicals. Okay, so you cannot just judge and predetermine that global warming is caused by just the emission of CO2 gases that's caused by man. Man is also putting other chemicals into the atmosphere that are causing a great change too in the environment. And you got to put all the data together when you're talking about something as big as the globe. You can't just give you a general format of just the basic elements that are in the atmosphere. We're creating chemicals and putting chemicals in the atmosphere that are exothermic and cause different changes within the atmosphere and on the Earth. This in itself is conditioning the Earth to change, the climate to change. And when there's change, like the whole concept of the word catalyst. Catalyst is a big factor in all things that happen on this planet. And for scientists to reject this, and some have, they have not thought thoroughly or clearly. They're just looking at the facts, looking at the way they see things as they are, and not putting in that concept of change. Everything is in a state of flux or change. Everything. And any scientist with a rational mind and an understanding of science and an understanding of his surroundings would realize this. Instead of basing their findings on narrow-minded facts, okay? I heard scientists, he was making insults to people about climate change. Yeah, of course they don't have the intellectual knowledge and the science background that you have. But they know something's happening. And they also know that it's not just a natural occurrence. Now, I'm not trying to insult any scientist out there. I'm not. And by no means am I what you call a quote-unquote scientist. But I observe things, and I weigh things out, and I analyze them and pick them apart to find out exactly what's going on. But the problem I have is we have so many scientists, they're coming up with their conclusions. So I got my data. They're specializing. Most scientists specialize in a specific field. When you're talking about the Earth as a whole, you got to look at every aspect of things that are going on around it. The data from one thing can be misleading in another thing. You got to put all the information together, and the information can change daily. So, like when I say the word catalyst, it's a physical change imposed upon something that it changes the outcome. The actual chemical makeup of something can physically change by the interaction of other things interacting with it, like chemicals, for instance. The chemicals interacting in the atmosphere, the exothermic chemicals that I'm talking about, there's a lot more than just, aluminum oxide. I'm just naming that one off the top of my head because I know that has an effect. And there's methane, there's tons and tons of chemicals that are being forced and introduced into the atmosphere because of people producing synthetic chemicals. You're talking about all kinds of oil, everything. We're out there producing new stuff all the time, and we're introducing these chemicals that are not naturally in the atmosphere into the atmosphere. And what I'm trying to get at here to make it short, I know I'm long-winded here. To make it short, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I do know this. When you change the physical makeup and the physical outcome of things that are already pre-existing, you're making something totally different. So when you do this, you may change the face of the earth. Not only the face of the earth, life itself, because if you eliminate oxygen in the atmosphere, or you change the makeup of the oxygen in the atmosphere that we breathe, a certain amount of nitrogen and oxygen that allows us to live, right? Then the species will no longer be able to live because they wouldn't have had enough time to adapt to the physical change and makeup that's going on around them. That's what's happening. That's why plants are dying off. That's why birds are dying off. That's why fish are dying off. So let's get it clear, scientists of the world. Look at all these things and quit playing into the hand of the rich and wealthy, because they don't have your best interest in mind. They want to lobby to make money to protect their interest. If you're a true scientist and a true believer in taking care of the planet and the inhabitants here, then start looking into things like I've been talking about. The concept of catalyst and all the other chemicals that are being poured in the atmosphere. Talk about that. And CO2 gases are just one of the many things that are causing damage to this earth. So please, be broad-minded, don't be narrow-minded, and research. I always say that, research. Well, peace out to all those people out there, and I hope we can manage to do something peaceful for the earth before it's too late. But I think we've come to a tipping point, not being a doomsdayer, but I kind of am. Do something good. Go back to agriculture. That's the best thing we could ever do. Quit poisoning the earth. Peace out.